I don't believe in it for. I don't believe in it for partners. Seriously.
How do you
I'm ready.
pronounce your last name?
Lamackova.
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 Like it.
Like it?
I think we're going to start. Dobro jutro, ako vam je dobro. Vidim neki su ipak uspjeli nakon sinoćnjeg tuluma, zabave ili bilo čega što ste radili doći i danas ujutro. Pa možete se i približiti naprijed, bit će vam možda ljepše slušati ili ne. Dobro, vaš odabir. Neću puno duljiti, današnji dan je posvećen ljudskim resursima. Jučer smo slušali o novim poslovnim modelima i ono što je neizostavno bilo primijetiti, a to je da svaki poslovni model u konačnici počiva na ljudima i bez ljudi ne možete ništa i vi koji ste u IT-u isto to dobro znate, a IT je danas i jedna od grana u kojoj zaista nedostaje kadra, ljudi, nekoga ko bi mogao odraditi posao. Tako da je danas upravljanje ljudskim resursima zaista jedno veliko pitanje za vašu kompaniju. S nama je danas Olga Lamackova from Czech Republic. I ona je iz Ernst & Younga from Czech Republic. I ona će vam ispričati nešto o modernom HR menadžmentu i upravljanju ljudskim resursima i što je u tom području potrebno znati. So, Olga, please. Take the floor.
So, good morning. As I was introduced, my name is Olga Lamackova. I'm a Czechoslovakian, actually, born in Slovakia, working in Prague, so keeping the federation spirit. And I would like to share with you what I do consider what is ahead of us in terms of the HR and taking care of our people. I understood the part, Zelko, when you said, bez ľudí nezmôžete nič, or something like that, which is very clear, and it is as it is. People are the biggest assets, but when I was moving from my audit practice to internal HR, I never thought that working with people is actually so difficult. So let me share with you my thoughts, how the HR trends look like going forward and might be relevant not only for the organization like big four companies, but also for the smaller organization of nowadays. Just a reminder for myself, who am I? Trends that are changing HR management. I have selected these 6 areas. I would like to talk only very, very briefly and lightly about the generations and how they are different to us, Generation X, and how is the labor market nowadays. I would like to spend some few words around the recruitment techniques because this is becoming increasingly important. Power of brand. Without the brand, we will hardly make a difference in nowadays world. Technologies and social media, technology which complicates our lives almost on a daily basis. Succession planning as the key process in the next few years, maybe decade, and continuous pressure on HR costs, and in relation to that, how the HR function will be shaped till 2020. So, Generation Y, Z, and others. Many things have been said around the Generation Y or millennials. I read an article which says, understanding of a misunderstood generation. So these poor guys born after 1980, in 81, depends on which country and which part of the world, they have a reputation of not willing to work that hard as the previous Generation X. And for some companies, it causes some problems. But they are here. They represent the significant portion of the population of the labor market, and we have to consider that. So still, most of the companies are focusing on the Generation Y or millennials. However, the leaders on the market are already looking on the next generation, the guys who were born after 1994, 5, 6. They're not that much of a science around this generation because clearly they haven't made a record on the labor market. But the leaders of on the labor market, they start to invest in the internship programs for the Generation Z. So this is something maybe to consider. Quality of the education in the coming years. I don't know what is your experience, but in broader terms on the central, or maybe bigger Central Europe, there are many, many university graduates in terms of the percentage of the total population, but the quality seems to be descending. With the statistically given with a bigger volume, the quality has a tendency to decrease. And we have difficulties because the moment you need to hire a certain amount of people on a yearly basis and you don't want to compromise on the quality, you have to look at a broader and broader population because this is how the statistics works and it complicates your recruitment processes, etc., etc. It's maybe time to consider whether the education, like highest level of education is necessary for our positions, how we can work with the bachelor degrees or even like high school graduates. We tested it several times. We have hired only like a secondary school students, and I have to say it wasn't easy. So I can't say there is a proven record that it works. There is something about the studying further and developing yourself. Not necessarily that the universities would teach the people like a nuclear power engineering, but it's the way how they approach the work, how they study, how they collect the information, and how they behave at the workplace. End of traditional career path. With the way how we are trying to adjust in HR in terms of like difficulties to find the right people, we are coming up with a new innovative terms of employment. Nowadays, the standard employment contract is no longer the only prevailing type of relationship with employees. We try to have many contractors. This is the trend across the whole companies. So therefore, the people are kind of like entrepreneurs at the same time, and they are working for many companies, especially the moment you need experts. It's probably you won't be able to have the specialist or expert for yourself. So this is now changing how the career path might look like, and more entrepreneurs will be kind of like part of our corporate environment. So as I said, understanding of misunderstood generation. Just few highlights because in the afternoon I understand there will be a session on this generation separately, but in general, I want to say I think it was necessary that the new generation would come because hopefully this is the general observation. Generation X is working simply too much, and we were facing the issues with the like overworked, overloaded people across the different labor markets. Depends on the clearly north, south, the mentality of the countries and everything. In really, really broad terms, Generation X was very much addicted and dedicated to work. Dedicated and then addicted to work. And it was necessary to bring certain balance because everything in life should be balanced. So with this generation who believes that the work is only like one part of the life and not necessarily the most important one, I feel like slowly but surely the necessary balance will be brought to the labor market. It will be compromised. Now when we keep hearing like how these guys cannot work and they don't want to work, it's difficult to adjust your business models to the desires of this generation. It's sometimes impossible. But I think at the end it will be compromised from both sides. That us as organization and companies, we will make some steps towards their important aspects of life, and also they will understand that life is also like about work. Not necessarily only about the work, but work is part of it. According to Universum, just very briefly, that's the agency who conducts worldwide survey among the students which company is the best employer across the world and in various regions. They have summarized the millennials in this way. According to the universe, and millennials wants to feel secure or stable. They, in the recent past years, security and stability has been considered as a #1 priority when looking for a job in many countries across the Europe. Work for a company that is inclusive, has a friendly working environment, etc. Works for a company that enables innovation. Innovation is another fashion world of today. Creativity and innovation, so we are going back to the forbidden words. Work for challenging work environments or for themselves. They are eager to change the world, and they want someone who shares their vision. 85% of students in the world believe that the work should be part of who they are, or in other words, they are saying we would like to work, we would have a work which would have a meaning, has some added value to the society. They are not specifying. It's not about the corporate responsibility. It's not about some ethical standards. They just want to feel it's contributing to something bigger. Just few numbers for the early, fresh morning. 27% of this generation are already managers. In 10 years, 47 will be managers or senior managers, so it's a significant portion of the population. 59%, this is like for the internal information of our organization, they are managers. 18% are senior managers, so most of the leadership population of the companies like ours who specialized on the junior population of the labor market, most of them are managers. 37% of the whole workforce is managed by the millennials, which brings some pros and cons into the process, mainly related to some of them being relatively young and not ready for the managerial positions. So companies have to address it. And this is just how does it look like in a company like ours in terms of the generation mix. The second part where I would like to comment on the new trends is in the area of recruitment techniques. Many companies, they confirm that nowadays in the virtual world and social environment, young guys are informed about the companies. They know who they are, which are the company, what they do. Nevertheless, not necessarily they are ready to apply for them. Given the volume of the information which is available and everything, they are slightly resistant to apply for the job. So while the awareness around the different companies on the market is there, not necessarily the people are actually making the next step to file the application form or apply for the job for various reasons. Simply the overload with the information, which is clearly there, causes that the young guys, they need to receive the information from 6 various channels. This is said by the statistics. Just let me briefly say, I think the current labor market is extremely interesting and contradictory. So while we are constantly focusing on like shaping the labor force and we are assessing whether the value of the labor is adequate and appropriate, job market is picking up and the companies are ready to pay for their new employees the amounts they were never ready to pay before. So it's very contradictory. We expect retention issues. 86% of the current employed people are looking for another job. Not actively that they will be going to the job portals, but as they are active on the various social platforms, the advertisements are there. You know how it's working, how the advertisement on LinkedIn work. So it comes to you. So it's very much like you don't have to be necessarily active. The offers are coming to you, and then you look at it. Clearly, you are interested to see what is available. Increased focus on engagement. Without an engagement, people won't be loyal and dedicated enough innovation in the recruitment process. Next year, even greater emphasis on mobile recruitment. 83% of the people are looking at their possible jobs on the mobile devices, while only 20% of Fortune 500 companies have attractive mobile career pages. So, and this is, considering these statistics, you as a company need to have attractive mobile career page in case you would like to attract this generation. With the new recruitment techniques, you have to be very, very innovative. And we have also tested the video recruiting. Some people refused to be part of it. We were testing it for the assistant, like secretarial positions, and some girls were simply too shy to go for the video recruiting process. But it says something about the personality too. So this is an example from the movie Internship. I like the actress, so hopefully you will consider it at least funny and probably the way how not to do it, but let's see.
Hi, I'm Vince, and this is Owen, and we're going to share with you a scene from our new movie, The Internship. Owen, this is the interview scene.
Oh, yeah, I remember. Okay, bring it in closer.
Get in close. Go ahead.
On this.
This is how people do it now, Nikki. They have their interviews on the internet.
I like it. I know.
Have you seen in the web? Cheek to cheek. Nick, come here to the crowd. Okay,
Good.
great.
You got it?
Hi, my name is Billy.
Oh, we can hear you fine.
Man.
Nick Campbell.
I'm Benjamin.
Allison. Questions that's a little bit of
No.
You're shrunken down to the size of nickels and dropped to the bottom of a blender. What
Flat on your
Right.
face.
You just lay back,
Lay
enjoy
stiff
that
as a board,
breeze.
light as a feather,
Pretend it's a fan.
And let the
Okay,
back
what's
sway.
this
Right.
What is blender on? It's on forever.
it's on.
Hopefully, I got to disagree. And even the best model is only going to run maybe 11 hours. So we're getting out, and when we do, we're better off for it, because whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
It's not so much getting out of the blender, it's what happens.
You've got man the possibilities.
On top of my head, and I'm going here.
Swimming.
Sunglass repair on those little screws.
Or maybe stick Marines that they put in people's bodies to fight diseases.
Okay, that's not a real thing, the submarines.
No.
Wait a minute. I thought we were stuck in a blender. Now we're... What? Quick. We start... What?
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 Wait a minute. We were stuck in a blender.
What a journey.
And now lives?
Thank you.
So there wasn't my particular experience. I just thought it extremely funny, even though seeing it for so many times. So you need to really consider how is your recruitment strategy and make it as simple and as quick as possible. You need to attract the people using your brand. Then you need to quickly and efficiently recruit, whether it means using the video recruiting or just getting the people quickly or taking them on board for the internship program and only then to test them. So you need to really shorten the recruitment process as much as possible. And then you need to take care of them, spoil them, and retain them, that the investment is considered carefully. Moving to brand, just very quickly. These are the two statements which I think I like very much. And the first thing is about storytelling. The brand is about storytelling. This is the message which is given by the Just Do It author, Scott Bedbury. And the second sentence, when you read it, is confirming that the employer brand strategy is extremely important. I had a meeting with the Universal people yesterday, and they said that the FMCG type of companies, they are very much open to the employer branding strategy because they are used to invest in marketing heavily. For the other companies who do not perceive that marketing as a top priority process, it's also difficult to pursue the leadership for the employer branding strategy. But please consider that it's extremely important going forward. The brand will be the the bigger thing how the new people will be attracted to. Very quickly, this is like a pie thing, but basically what it says that the external brand and internal brand, both of them are absolutely critical. And statistics says that 70% of your brand is built up by your own people. So marketing divisions extremely important. We need the processes. We need to market ourselves externally, but 70% of the brand is built up internally. Technologies and social media. I feel like technologies complicates our lives on too often. So I think it's maybe I don't understand the technology that much, but my impression is that the trends are ahead of the technology's abilities and capabilities. For example, when talking about the self-service fashion, if you want to implement the self-service, which it seems like inevitably is coming, and more companies will be putting more pressure on their people to do the lots of administration as part of the self-service, you have to have the technology which will allow them to do it like a one-click exercise. You can't have systems and processes which will make people think, and they will be calling back to HR, how exactly I will get to the systems and where I need to go and what exactly I need to click. It has to be super fast. It needs to be working, not that there will be like outages on a daily basis. And it has to be very user-friendly. Repeating the 83% versus 20% from the previous slide, 45% of active candidates have applied to a job on a mobile device. So please make sure your career web pages are also readable on the mobile devices. This is just the more social media updates and blog posts. I'm pretty sure that the social media will not disappear. Their popularity will change. These are the most used platforms in 2014 by students, as prepared by the Universum agency. I think that the sequence will change going forward, because you probably read that as Facebook is probably used by nowadays generation, the kids of the current Facebook users will be resistant and hesitant to use the same platform of social network as their parents. So probably they will have different preference. When I was picking up one process for what is important, I thought it's the succession planning. And simply because the boomers, the generation before the current generations, they are going to retire, and not many companies are actually prepared for this scenario. And the same applies for entrepreneurs who were establishing their businesses after 1989, 19 in our part of the world, and they spend their life and energy and everything to build up something what is extremely successful. Nevertheless, they don't have successor, because probably the relationship in the families wasn't set up this way, and they have extreme difficulties what will be happening next. And so I think it applies for the corporation as well for the self businesses. So you need to really think of the succession planning and do even like a tough exercise. Ask your leaders to prepare the list of 3 names of the people who would be ready for stand up their position almost like immediately. Yeah, that anything can happen. People look at it in a very like a negative, skeptical lenses, but force them to think about it, because it's absolutely critical that people in your leadership roles will be spending time with their potential future successors. However, I think we will have to still consider what to do with the population of the people who will retire, but they are still pretty active with how we are deferring the retirement age nowadays in our countries. I think we need to look at it, whether it's still not worthy or possible of an added value for us as a companies to hire even retired people, because they have their know-how, they They can balance the young energy of the newcomers to the organization. Women will continue to be on the top of the agenda. It's relevant to the succession planning. I don't agree with this quotes exercise, but it's here, but it will be somehow incorporated in your strategies, I'm sure. And now, just to close down, I feel like there are two possible options how the HR management or people management can move forward, and how the HR functions in the companies can fine-tune and shaped. There will be certainly downsizing of the HR functions internally, and they will be outsourcing will continue. And this is definitely the trend. I was hoping that this trend is over, but apparently not. So I've been persuaded by many clear and exact examples. So the role of the internal HR functions will be changing significantly. And there is an option either to really keep only like a necessary additional administration at the local level, or just to act as a really, really strategic thinker, business partner. Even more and more of a business partner than in the previous years. So I would be hoping clearly for option B. If the life will bring option A, we'll see. But with the outsourcing exercises and shared service centers, the administration should disappear, and the local HR team should really focus on a long-term future planning. Clearly the pressure on the cost is complicating the setup, but it's part of life probably. Self-service implementation, it will continue massively. HR generalists will be disappearing, and more focus will be put on specialists again. So whoever is very specialized and a subject matter expert. Big data and HR, I think HR as a internal serving function, we also have to work with the analytics and all the data which is available on the market to prove their added value to the company. And we will have to become more like a marketing. We need to treat our employees and our bosses, we need to treat them as a client, and it's extremely important to implement the like really exceptional client service towards the employees, because this is how I believe it should be. So I hope there is a bright future. There is a light at the end of the tunnel of the HR world, and it's not the train coming in an opposite direction. We just need to stay positive and take care of our people, and I'm ultimately 100% clear that if we apply the passion, whatever we do, it will be successful at the end. So thank you very much.
On now, okay. Thank you for the great insight in modern HR management. Is there any question for Olga? Oh, we have.
Just one question, Marco from Microsoft. If I understood you correctly, you were in audit and then moved to HR.
Yes.
What was the experience of that cross-functional move, and is this something we will continue to see more in the future?
I'm biased to comment on this transfer because clearly I'm glad that I was given that opportunity. It's not normal, yeah, because I don't have the HR background, but for our company it was important that I understand the business. And nowadays I observe more and more business people moving to internal functions. From internal reputation point of view, I left the audit practice. I was there 7 years, and now I'm 9 years in HR. Still, I'm taken as a ex-professional, and they believe whatever I say as a stronger value, that I understand the business. So I personally would be inclined to continue, but depends whether the companies are ready to do that. Certainly, like a psychological background of the people in the HR team would be also important. So, but not necessarily for still the HR business partner roles.
Yeah, thank you. Some other question? Tough crowd, or it's morning?
No.
Difficult morning.
I was
But-
planning to do the exercise in the morning, like, you know, you do this regularly the next day of the conference. You ask all
Like
people
physical exercise?
to physical exercise, of course, like to ask all the people to stand up, and then you ask them to sit by an hour, like who went to bed by midnight, who went to bed by 1, 3, and then when I see all those red chairs, okay, that's a perfect. Please do it now. It's a more full.
Let's do it. Let's do
But
it
with the
together.
number of red chairs I was exposed to, it was visible that the party must have been excellent. So
And it will continue to now. So it's good that you don't have a presentation tomorrow morning. So you're a lucky one.
I'm lucky one, exactly. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Olga.
Great. Very nice. Good. Yeah,
Dobro, malo se napunila dvorana. Možda ste čuli o prezentaciji jučer koju je imao Kun. If you are sleepy now, then surely you will wake up because Kun is